We have a saying around our place. If you're going to play winning football, we want to play you. That's Kirby Smart talking about, coming into this season, which is a couple of days away. The Dogs taking on Marshall Saturday, as you know, 3:30 ESPN. Get all your information about it on Dawg Post. Look, Malachi Stark's first game at Georgia was against Oregon. He made an outstanding play in that game that could have kept Oregon in the game. I don't think it would, I don't think Oregon was going to win that game, but Malachi Starks, boom, right away. Jake Fromm, game 2, boom, right away. I mean, I think back to the Notre Dame game. I was talking with somebody about this earlier today. The Notre Dame game, on the last play, the last offensive play of the game, they had multiple true freshmen on the field. They had DeAndre Swift, Jake Fromm, Andrew Thomas, and I think one other person. So almost half the guys on the field at the time were true freshmen. So what he's saying, Kirby, talking about if you're going to play winning football, we want to play you. He goes on to say, we're looking to have as many guys as possible above that winning threshold line. That's the goal, to play all those guys. If you will do it, they'll play you. They will. I mean, it's just, I'm trying to think of other guys that played, early, young, whatever you want to call it. Lawrence Cager came in and played right away. Mo Smith, I think, was one of the most important people at Georgia in Kirby's early time in 2016. I remember the stories about Mo Smith, guys being like, man, this is hard, this is difficult. Mo Smith, this is the only way to do it. There's no magic. It's just going this hard. And it took Georgia a while to get where they had to go. That learning part was important. I mean, Isaac Nada played on that Jacob Eason, Isaac Nada. I mean, these were younger guys that really took advantage of their drive to play winning football. Those guys did it, and they played. I want you to take advantage of this offer we've got. You can see it. It's right down below in the QR code. You can buy Dawg Post for $1 right now. You're going to get 30 days of Dawg Post. That gets you through the Alabama game. You can pay $1 and get all these insights that you're not. I mean, we're only talking to y'all for minutes. You can spend hours on Dawg Post every day. People do it all the time. It's completely normal and usually healthy. But you're going to want to talk to people that are like you, who care about it. You don't want to be in the comments section all the time. So make sure you're signing up. It's $1. You can read Leggy Sauce from the Box, What We Were Hearing, Final Feelings, all of these things that you can't get anywhere else. You can get it at Dawg Post. The link is right down below. Check that out today. Thanks for considering it. But I think, it did take time. I want to focus on this real quick because it did take time from the summer of 2016. We at that time were allowed to go see Georgia's recruiting camps. That has long since been killed off, unfortunately, but it has long since been killed off. And you could see the way that, you could interact with guys and talk with them and so forth. I remember a conversation with Isaac Nada. Chad Simmons and I were walking. If you know who Chad Simmons is, if you know, you know. If you don't, that's kind of surprising, to be honest with you. But Chad and I were walking from one part of the intermediate fields to the next. And at the time, that's where Georgia was doing their camps. They may still do them there. I'm not sure. But this was before Trevor Lawrence was around. He was there that summer. Anyway, I remember Chad talking to Isaac about something that had been written. I cannot recall who wrote it, about how, the players on the team were having a hard time sort of either respecting Kirby or understanding all the workload and, this, that, and the other. And I remember Isaac being very direct with Chad about, everybody completely knows who's in charge here. And it's Kirby Smart. There was no confusion from Isaac. I mean, it's a guy that was a young guy. But I do think there were some guys that were older that they didn't get it. They didn't understand everything that had to be done. I'm moving all these pens around. They didn't understand completely what had to happen in order to have success. And the success that Kirby was talking about was not getting to the SEC championship game. It was winning it. It was going to the Rose Bowl and winning the Rose Bowl and winning the national championship. And the only way to do it is to do it. Period. And that includes institutional support, which was not necessarily there the way that it needed to be at the start, or the way it would be eventually. Let me put it that way. It wasn't the way it needed to be at the start. People didn't understand it. They didn't understand, why is the recruiting budget, going up this much? Because you have to recruit to win. And the real challenge going into let's see. So they signed, so signing day at the time was in 16. But like Jacob and Isaac and Ben, maybe a couple other guys, Julian Rochester, they were already on campus. They had been signed, but there was, that was the worst class that Kirby Smart signed, was his first class. From that point forward, they were either 1 or 2 or 3. But I think they were 1 or 2 basically the whole time since. So you had to do all of those things. But that, for all of the intricacies, annoyances, whatever you want to call it about Kirby, that those of us behind the scenes, if you want to call it that, deal with, the results speak for themselves. And you have to you have to have all of the things in place that you need in place in order to win. That includes the kids, starts with the kids. That includes the coaches, that includes the strength staff, that includes nutrition, that includes the facilities. That was not in place in 2015. That was not, it started getting an indoor. Indoor was a total joke that Damon Evans put in place. Total joke. And was wrong, to be honest with you. To take that money and build that space was a disaster. Basically, people just ate there. There was very limited things you could do with 125 kids. When you start thinking about, the even still today, they're not exactly where they want to be. It's in the very near future, Georgia will have side-to-side fields because the Spec Towns track will be moved on millage by the softball facility, and it's going to be a very nice facility. But it will give football finally and completely the ability to have pretty much precisely what they want for a long time, decades. Georgia did not have the layout they wanted because they're kind of land struck. They're constrained. You got Stegman, you've got Butts, you've got baseball. They're all right there. And, now you have the indoor facility. Everything is not easily laid out. I'm well aware of a time at Georgia when, they had they still are constrained to some degree in terms of yards, but they didn't have enough for a full field. That's not true. They had in their practice apparatus non-full fields, which I think is still the case now. That will not be the case moving forward. All of those things had to be in place. I'm getting too stuck on facilities, but all of that matters. I mean, if you don't have the right layout, then you can't really practice the way you'd like. Let me just stick with the layout just one last time here. If you have fields side to side, the head coach can be in the middle, and the head coach can look at the ones versus the ones and the twos versus the twos immediately. Ones go, and then right now they got to walk down, the head coach has to walk the yards to make that happen, to see. So it's not ideal. And you could immediately go ones versus twos and twos versus ones on the next field over. And, there's no wasted time. Time is an extremely valuable commodity. We cannot get it back. It's not like money where you can make more. You can't earn more time. You've got a particular amount and that's it. So that's the important thing, that all of those things in place. And then if you're going to play winning football, we're going to play you. So guys Christopher Smith, nobody thought about Christopher Smith. Jordan Davis was a little bit too heavy offensive lineman at Mallard Creek. I mean, it was easy to see that Zamir and James Cook had freaky abilities. But then, Zamir had the ACLs and so forth. It all matters. It all adds up. I mean, if you're going to play winning football, that I wouldn't say it's got to be your life. That's maybe an overused term, but it's got to be extremely important to you. And you have to have the details matter all the time. If you got the details right, that big stuff's going to take care of itself. It just will. But there's a drive that you have to have from the kids. They have to commit themselves to this. They're getting paid now. And there's really no explanation or excuse not to be fully ready. It falls on the kids, but the coaches have a lot to do with it too. And, I think it's great. If you're going to play winning football, we're going to play you. Dan Schmatzer at Coker, where I played, would scream at us in a loving way. When we were young, he just didn't want to hear it. If he didn't want to hear about how we were young, either you're good young or bad young. Right now, y'all are bad young. He never screamed at us, y'all are good young right now. That 2-word phrase never came out of his mouth about us, but probably because he had me on the court. Thanks for watching.